So I remember it was this one morning when I was 13 at the time. I had a really bad, like pretty awful addiction towards porn and like masturbation, and like it was like pretty awful. Sometimes I would like literally just like beat it like for like maybe 4 times in a day or something. Yeah, like it back then it was like really awful, and I would like watch like pretty bad stuff as well, and like this made me like pretty damn depressed and everything. But this one morning I just woke up, and like in beneath the sheets I could feel the rock hard morning wood like penetrating through like my fucking sheets, and like it was just like such an unshakable feeling. Like I was immediately getting like the thoughts and the urges, and so what do you think I do? The first thing I did was just pick up my phone and start scrolling while I was still in bed. And like this was still bright and early in the morning, and I was like just on the weekends, and I was just like scrolling in bed, just like rotting away and everything. And of course, as you know, on scrolling on like doom scrolling on Instagram and like on Reels, it would just like ever so naturally happen that you'd just find some really like provocative content of girls and like bikinis and whatnot, and then I see that, and then like immediately, like before I know it, first fap of the day just gone. And so then I poorly clean up, and then I'm just like keep on scrolling, keep rotting away in bed until I keep seeing this content, and then like I just slip right back, and before I know it, boom, second one done of the day. And even more, I kept doom scrolling, and then I literally see another trigger, and like before I know it, then like I feel like such a goblin. I'm like such a gremlin, like literally done nothing all morning except rot away in the sheets in the bed. And like by the third time, like it didn't even feel hard, bro. Like it wasn't even enjoyable. I just did it because out of like just complete I don't even know why, just like out of just complete dopamine and everything. And so of course just poorly clean up and get dressed and like go brush my teeth and whatnot, and then I go downstairs to have breakfast to find like my entire family there. It was like a weekend. I forgot if it was like any event that was going on that we were all downstairs or anything, but man, I remember walking into there, and it just like felt like you had imaginary stink lines just like waving above your head and everything, just like that aura that was just exerting out of you. You felt like such a gremlin, like so like anxious and like tight with your posture and everything. Like you could just sense that I had a really bad start to the morning because I was like being a gremlin and rotting away in the bed. And so it really hit me that day when I did all that, and it just like really like messed with my head, and that like got to me because until then like I'd finally like try to like pledge to myself and say, yup, this is it, I'm going to stop, this is no more, and so I'm just gonna like quit. What do you think happened? I pledged myself to quit, and then I try and hold it back, but 2-3 days in, just relapse. That's just the normal, usual timeline, and that's like also just the same trap that like I got into with like NoFap as well, when like I would watch content and see content of like how people were able to like quit porn and everything, but like that didn't help at all. When I pledged myself to be on NoFap, like day 1, day 2, day 3, gone, relapse. And then I'd be like, okay, fine. This time I'm gonna actually actually like be consistent. And then boom, by the 4th day, like once again, just back into my old ways again. So yeah, this journey and everything to try and like quit porn and everything, I think I've came a long way since then to like overcome this addiction, this habit, and this bad habit. And like even though while right now it's not been I'm not completely like abstained from it, I think I've done like really well to like completely desexualize my mind. I've like completely like removed my mind of like lust and the urges and desires. So in today's video, I want to share with you 2 ways that I've been able to overcome this addiction of mine, to overcome the nofap and like porn. And this can go with like any other addiction as well, with smoking, drugs, like video games, junk food, doom scrolling, any of that. I've fixed with these two steps. And first one I want to talk about is progressive deloading. So you've probably heard of the concept in the gym if you work out, about progressive overload. So progressive overload is basically overloading like the weights. So like when a beginner first starts out in the gym and they say do like an exercise like bench press, right? They do bench press, and like imagine if they say like, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll start on 100 kgs. Like you'd look at him and be like, what? No, lower your fucking ego, okay? That's physically impossible for you right now. So like you would you would make the beginner just start with doing only the empty barbell, and from there in the next few sessions that follows, you just add like maybe 2.5 or 5 kgs to the barbell every time. So, and letting your strength compound from like rest and recovery, going from like 10 kgs to 20 to 40 to 50 and then all to 60, and then all the way until the point to 100 kgs, where over that time, after all that training and recovery, it just feels completely effortless to do 100 kgs, which this can be directly applied into trying to quit the bad habits, but also similarly in the adverse, trying to also get consistent in the good habits too. Which from the idea of progressive overload, we change it to progressive deloading. So instead of going more and more and more on the weights, when you're trying to get rid of the bad habits, you go and try and progressively deload down from where your current baseline point is. But the big issue is when most people think of trying to quit bad habits, they always think of like trying to keep up the streak, or just quitting cold turkey immediately. Like this is completely like utterly stupid and retarded, because most people simply do not understand what real consistency actually is. Just throwing away the junk food or like the drugs, and then and also like just trying to delete social media and like video games and whatnot, like just in an instant, that's like gonna fix absolutely nothing. Because when most people think of it, it's just like utterly stupid to think that way. Because when they're thinking of keeping up the streak, trying to like go as long as they try to like not be on try and not do the bad habit, it's literally only like so tunnel vision, like unsustainable, like only for the short term. Most people's ideas of consistency is just utterly stupid too. Most people think that like consistency is about just not missing days and keeping up the streak. So like if this was the case, then like a really big buff jack bodybuilder who like would take a rest day because he got bad sleep and feels really sore, then that means he missed the workout that day, which technically means he's on day 0 of exercising and working out. Tell me for a second to look at his physique and say that he looks like he's on day 0 of exercising. So do you see why the streak is so utterly retarded? It's not about how long you've been going since you started. It's not consistency isn't the streak. Consistency isn't about quitting just 1 year in or 10 years in. It's about never fucking quitting. That's consistency. That's real consistency. So how do you go about like realistically implementing progressive deload into your life? Well, it's easy. You have to just keep doing the bad habit. Because like for say like when if you're fapping like too much and you like fap like 3 times a day or something, then like just to go from like 3 times a day down to like only 2. Say if like your screen time is like 9 hours, then like aim to subtract it by like 10 minutes and go from 9 hours to go to like 8 hours 50 or something. So even though like I get it, it might sound like crazy to say like keep doing the bad habits that you're literally trying to quit. Like I know it sounds like insane, like what, like you want me to still do this bad habit that's been like keeping me depressed all this long? Which to that I must say, like, this bad habit you've been like building up for like months, weeks, years, or like decades almost even. Like this stuff, if you like just trying to start now to like try and count with the intention to like counteract that, it will not counteract all those years of like of the bad habits that have been compounding to your tolerance to it and everything. So like understand that, like, because if you remember, if you do try and quit cold turkey like that, there's like literally no good that comes out of it, because what you'll end up just literally like quitting and like quitting from trying to like you'll literally end up just failing at quitting the bad habit that you tried to quit. So like literally just literally turn your brain off and follow that, honestly. And I get it, like this process, these bad habits, like I said, like we've built them up for so long, there'll be so much friction, there'll be so much like constant urges and temptations and triggers all the time, like everywhere you go. Like it will be very, very tough and challenging, but just know that like it will never come so seamless or frictionless, but and your progress will always ebb and flow as it goes on. But just know that never quitting and like always setting that intention to always trying to like stay on the good habits and try and like staying off the bad habits will always be paramount to your success. Literally, like if you go to the point where you like only fap like once a week, or like you literally like your screen time is only 1 hour a day, consider yourself having made like really impressive progress. Like feel really grateful for the progress and the level that you have achieved through that. Now the second thing I wanted to talk about is something that I learned from MJ DeMarco's book, The Millionaire Fastlane, there's a chapter in it that talks about what's called identity cataclysms. So I want to just give you an analogy for this. Like like imagine in your mind there's 2 guys. This first guy, he's at this party. So both of them are at this party, and this one guy, he has the identity of being someone who wants to quit drinking, who wants to stop being an alcoholic, and they're like trying to like quit. This first guy, he'll be approached by some of his friends and they'll say like, oh hey man, do you want a drink? Do you want like I'll get you like a beer or like something like that. And then he's like, oh no, sorry guys, I'm trying to quit drinking. I'm trying to quit. And so then if you think about it, like when people hear about that, they're like, they look at him and then they'll be like, oh come on man, don't be shy, like just try and like just go try drinking sometimes, like, well, like come on, like it won't hurt to drink like once every so often. And then he'll be like, no, but I'm trying to quit guys, please, I'm trying to quit. And so like you can imagine just how much peer pressure he gets from other people, like, no, it's okay, like drinking is fine every now and then, like, and he'll be like, and then eventually, like, yeah, of course, this the guy who's trying to quit will just end up like entertaining the idea of just drinking again, and he'll just be the one who walks out of that party the most like shit-faced, the most like blackout drunk, of course. Compare that to the other guy who's in the party, and he thinks of himself as just a non-drinker. He thinks of himself as just someone who doesn't drink at all. He's in his mind, he's accepted the belief that, yup, I'm just not the one who's to drink. And he gets offered a drink by his friends, and he's like, oh no, thank you, I just don't drink. Do you understand and see like how powerful that mindset shift, that identity shift is? Because relying on willpower and motivation to quit is utterly and simply ineffective. You see, and then like, because that only brings about like shallow change to like try and like get rid of it. When you're like only trying to quit, you only like get yourself so far when you're like trying to like look at the temptations and the urges, and you're trying to like so hard to like try and like hyper focus onto them and be like, I hope I don't drink, today, or like maybe with porn and fapping, they're like, I hope I don't fap today, I hope I don't like relapse and everything. So if willpower and motivation, they'll only bring about like very shallow change, very short-term shallow change. Real change, real long-term change will only start and begin from changing your own identity and self-image that is hardwired into your brain. Because when people say stuff like, when they talk about it, they're like, oh yeah guys, like, I'm gonna try and quit this for like the 100th time or something. I'm gonna try quitting the social media. I'm gonna try quitting video games. Try quitting junk food for like the 1,000th time already. They always, like, these types of people always gotta be like talking about it to everyone, but eventually it's all just chat and just complete just like bullshit yap. That just ends up in zero action, like absolutely none. So rather than trying to talk about quitting it, be about it, act about it, and then your daily habits and your actions eventually will align to that version of you, to align to that identity of being someone who doesn't do that bad habit. So once you actually chase going for those actions and habits that genuinely show that you are just someone who does not do the bad habit, then you'll eventually just align to it, and your life will reflect it. Thus, it will just enhance your overall confidence anyways, to like to focus on being someone like that. Because say like if you want to become an entrepreneur, you don't like and you made that idea in your mind that you are one, you don't wake up every morning and you don't go to your and you wouldn't go to your computer to like look at like porn and whatnot. You would instead go and start chasing your dreams to go become an entrepreneur by filming like these YouTube videos, or like scripting, or like working something on your business, because that is exactly what the habits that have aligned to your identity of being an entrepreneur. And in the adverse sense, trying to be someone who's only trying to quit and trying to get away from the bad habit, then you'll like literally only ever stay that in the way for your entire life until death, honestly. And so that way you'll be able to like kind of being the one who's trying to quit will kind of entertain the idea of relapsing even more, even though you're desperately trying to think to yourself, no, don't do the bad habit, don't fab, don't like drink, don't like smoke or whatnot. Then like that kind of mindset will instead like literally allow yourself into being more of someone who relapses and gives them less friction to do so. And like so this is overall just reflects how like your identity reflects it to the status quo that you've created for that identity and self-image inside of your brain. So once you build up those habits and actions, you'll find real life evidence that you can reinforce into your mind about that identity to like prove yourself and to let yourself know that you are actually confident because you know that you are aligned and that you're being true to that authentic version of yourself that wants to improve and to be better instead of being someone who's only trying to quit. Easiest way for this to change that I know of is to completely change your environment. You know how like when you move houses and like when you're young and you go from like one city to another, like your mindset and your perspective with like when you move to like a completely different place, that will like completely change. That's only because because you realize that like all the people that you're around, like the school that you go to and like the environment that you are in, like no one will know you from there. No one knows who you are. So like it's almost like a complete wipe of a blank slate canvas to apply new like beliefs and ideas about yourself onto it. And even though like yeah, and that can be like very, very useful and helpful. But if you're like my age, you probably right now can't really move anywhere. So like, if you're like pretty young still and you like haven't been, if you don't like make money online like a lot right now, but because honestly like trying to improve and like change this identity while you're like still trapped at home and you still have like maybe a controlling like parents who are like still trying to make you get good grades and whatnot, and everyone still knows you as like the little video gamer gooner and whatnot, then like it will be pretty hard to like change the identity. But it would be very useful if if we can like try to like move somewhere else to like where like lots of other people are like-minded with us who also think this way about like self-improvement and like changing our lives. So I hope you found something very valuable out of this video. If you do and you are you have like very like-minded ideas towards self-improvement and like changing your life and whatnot, consider subscribing or like giving it a like honestly, because the more you can like boost the algorithm for this, the more you'll get like positive content to like change your life with, honestly. And so with that, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.